Week number 68 of Scott's Weekly Sports Day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back with my dad again. He's back for 2 weeks in a row. This hadn't happened in weeks.
Hey.
We are here for the conference championship games and NFL predictions for the weekend. So without further ado, let's get right into those for right now. So first game out is Northern Illinois and Buffalo for the MAC championship tonight. Should be a great game. Two very good teams. I will take Buffalo. They've been playing great all season. Give me the Bulls at home to get a win over Northern Illinois.
Buffalo's been the surprise team of the year this year. I think they're 10-2. I got Buffalo in this one to win by 10 points.
Next up, Utah and Washington in the Pac-12 championship game tonight on Fox. Check your local listings for the channel on Fox tonight.
Fox appreciates that.
I will take. I'm going to take Washington at home. I feel like Myles Gaskin and Jake Browning are going to be too much in this game in Santa Clara tonight. I'll take the Huskies over the Utes on tonight. But what a story for Utah this year. I'll take Washington at home in Santa Clara, though.
I think Washington's going to build off their momentum from last week, beating Washington State. I like Washington this one over Utah. And a close game, though.
Next up, the first of three rematches we have on the schedule this week is number 14 Oklahoma, as number 14 Texas, and number 5 Oklahoma battle for a possible spot in the college football playoff for Oklahoma as they head into AT&T Stadium in the Big 12 championship game. Revenge is a dish best served cold, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen this week. I think Kyler Murray and Oklahoma are going to get revenge this week. Give me the Sooners in Jerry's World to get a win against Texas and possibly punch their ticket into the college football playoff. Give me Oklahoma.
I agree with you, Scott. I think Oklahoma has more to play for. If they get the win, they're likely into the Final Four. Texas has been a great story, but I think Oklahoma beats them by at least 10 points.
Next up, Louisiana Monroe going against Kirk Herbstreit's App State team. He was saying earlier in the year that App State's better than UCF. Yeah, okay. I'll take App State to get a win here, though. Finish the year 10-2. Still a great record. I'll take App State to beat Louisiana Monroe on Saturday.
I feel like Scott's trained monkey here. I keep going with the same ones, but I agree. App State's going to get the win here.
Yep. Next up, UAB and Middle Tennessee in the Conference USA Championship game. Should be another great game. I'm going to take UAB. This season has been a great season for UAB. They didn't have a great year last year. They were bowl eligible last year, but they're much better this year. I'll take the Blazers to win their first Conference USA Championship against Middle Tennessee on Saturday.
UAB is one of the great stories in college football. They didn't have a program as of 2 years ago, and now they're in their conference championship game. I'm picking UAB.
Next up, Memphis heading in to the Battle House to take on number 9 UCF. Mackenzie Milton, I'm so sorry for the injury, man. The team is going to be far less impressive without you. But we will try and go one in Ohana for you tomorrow. Once again, Daryl Mack just needs to keep the ball in his hands. Don't turn the ball over. No stupid turnovers, and we should win this game. I'll take UCF by 10 points to win this game over Memphis because I think we're going to stop the run and get it done against Memphis.
I think it's going to be an incredibly close game. I think this is going to be decided by a field goal or less. If UCF was on the road, they'd be in trouble. But at home, with all the emotions surrounding Mackenzie Milton, I think UCF is going to pull this one out in a very, very close ball game.
Next up for the SEC Championship game, number 1 Alabama and number 4 Georgia. This is a must-win for Georgia. They got to win this game to get into the college football playoff. Well, some people are saying even if they lose this week, they still have a way in, but I don't see it. I'll take Bama to win by 10 points. I'm sorry to my buddy Uncle Lou, who I called into a couple days ago. Sorry, but your Georgia Bulldogs are going down tomorrow. I'll take Tua and Alabama to get the win over your Bulldogs on Saturday. Sorry, Uncle Lou.
I think Alabama may be the best team in the last 10 years. This team has got it all, offense, defense. I think they are an unstoppable force. I think Alabama wins. They win by 17 points or more.
Next up, Fresno State and Boise at the Smurf Turf. If UCF loses to Memphis tomorrow, this will decide who gets the New Year's Six bowl spot. So I'm going to take Boise State to get a win here on the Smurf Turf. It's tough to beat a team twice, but I think that's what's going to happen here. I'll take Boise to get another win against Fresno. which they beat, I believe, 3 weeks ago when me and my dad were at state softball. So I'll take Boise to get the win over Fresno.
I think at a neutral site, we're at Fresno. Fresno gets the win, but it's awfully tough to win in Boise State. I think Boise State wins this one as well.
Next up, Clemson and Pitt. Very surprising.
Mismatch.
Another very surprisingly good Pitt Panthers team this year. I don't think anybody expected to see Pitt come out of the Coastal Division this year. So I'm going to take Clemson to get a win, though. Trevor Lawrence has been playing good. Dabo's not going to let his team lose this week. I'll take Clemson to punch a ticket to the playoff with a win over Pitt.
This may be the biggest blowout of the weekend. I think Clemson's going to roll over Pitt. Pitt lost to a average Miami team last week. I think Pitt's going to lose big.
Next up, Ohio State and Northwestern in the Big Ten Championship game from Indianapolis. I'm going to take Ohio State coming off an emotional win last week. They're going to try and keep their college football playoff hopes alive. And I think Urban Meyer and Ohio State find a way to get a win over Northwestern. But it's going to be closer than people think because Ohio State has not been impressive all year except for that one game against Michigan last week. So I'll take Ohio State in a close one over Northwestern.
I'm actually going to go with the upset here. I think Ohio State plays up to the level of their competition, and when they play a weaker opponent, they play down. I think they're going to be so down coming off of that big win against Michigan. I think Oklahoma will have won earlier in the day. I think that'll deflate them a little bit. I think Northwestern's going to pull off the upset.
And now into the NFL action for the weekend. Congrats to the Cowboys for a big win last night over the Saints, 13-10. Big win for Dallas Cowboys, and the worst thing Stephen A. Smith could have ever seen happen today for him and his hate of the Dallas Cowboys. First game out on Sunday will be the Carolina Panthers heading into Tampa to take on Jameis Winston and the Bucks. Had a great week last week. Jameis threw the ball great last week. No interceptions, no turnovers for Jameis last week. I had to slap myself last week with no interceptions, no turnovers. In a close game when two teams are evenly matched like this, you got to go with the home team. I'm going to take the Bucks for one of the final wins of the season. I'll take Tampa at home to keep it going and keep that 9-7 hope alive. I'll take Tampa at home to get a win over Carolina.
I think this will be a close game, but I like Carolina in this game on the road. They got more to play for. They still have a chance to get in the playoffs. I think the Bucks, I guess mathematically they have a chance, but not really. And they looked good last week, but it was against a very bad 49ers team.
Next up, the Baltimore Ravens head into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome to take on Matty Ice and the Atlanta Falcons. Lamar Jackson's 2-0 as the starter for the Baltimore Ravens. I think he makes it 3 this week. The Ravens have been playing great. Still looking for that wildcard spot in the AFC. Looking to keep those hopes alive, and I think they do that this week with a win over Atlanta on the road. Give me Lamar Jackson and the Ravens on the road over the Falcons.
Disagree with Scott on this one. I think the Falcons are going to win at home. I think that Jackson has shown some flashes of good play, but I think Atlanta's a more complete team. I think Atlanta gets this win.
Next up, the Denver Broncos heading into Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati to take on Haggerty High School graduate and now starting quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, Jeff Driscoll. And AJ Green is supposed to be back this week, but I don't think it's going to matter. That Broncos defense is going to sack Jeff Driscoll a few times this week. I'll take the Broncos to get another good win this week. I'll take the Broncos on the road with that defense and a little bit of Case Keenum this week. I'll take the Broncos over the Bengals.
I agree. I think with Andy Dalton down as the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback, I like the Broncos in this game.
Next up, probably one of the biggest mismatches of the weekend is the LA Rams head into Ford Field to take on Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions. I'm going to take the Rams to win this game by halftime. The Rams will be rolling in this game. Jared Goff will throw 5 touchdowns this week. Todd Gurley's going to run for 2 or 3. I'll take the Rams on the road to get a win over the Lions on Sunday.
I agree. Mismatch. Rams are too good. The Lions are a mess. Rams get the win.
Next up, the Arizona Cardinals heading in to Lambeau Field to take on Aaron Rodgers and the slumping Green Bay Packers. I said it earlier in the week, and I'm going to stand by it. The Packers win this game. Devontae Adams will have 2 or 3 touchdowns this week. Give me the Pack at home to get a win over Arizona at Lambeau. And it should be pretty cold at Lambeau this weekend, so I'll take the Pack at home over Josh Chosen-Rosen and the Cardinals.
The Pack do not lose at home. They cannot win on the road. They're at home. They're going to get the win.
Next up, the Buffalo Bills coming off a win over the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. not that impressive. Everybody beats the Jags this year as they head into Miami to take on Ryan Tannehill and the Miami Dolphins. He looked good in his return last week. I was kind of scared about picking against him last week because I wasn't sure about if Tannehill was going to start. But the Colts found a way to win it last week. I'll take the Fins this week, actually. Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphins will get a win over the Bills on Sunday.
These are two Jekyll and Hyde teams, two teams that are very hard to predict. But with Miami being at home, I think they're going to win against Buffalo in a close game.
Next up, the Chicago Bears heading into East Rutherford and MetLife Stadium to take on Eli Manning and the Giants. The Bears will be without Mitchell Trubisky again this week. So they go back to the backup who started on Thanksgiving against the Lions. I'm going to take the Bears on the road against the Giants. I told my friend David Wolf this a few days ago. They didn't even need Trubisky this week. I'll take I think a high school quarterback to get it done this week. I'll take the Bears to get it done over the G-Men on Sunday.
The only thing that keeps this game close is the fact that Trubisky's out. But the Bears have one of the best defenses in the NFL. I think the Bears win in a low-scoring game in New York.
Next up, the Indianapolis Colts heading in to Jacksonville to take on Blake Bortles and the Jags. No Leonard Fournette this week, suspended for a game for fighting after last week's game. I'll take the Colts on the road. Without Leonard Fournette, this offense doesn't have anything. I'll take Andrew Luck and the Colts to keep those playoff hopes alive and get a win in Jacksonville against the Jags.
Luck has been one of the great stories this season after coming off a very significant shoulder injury. Played very, very well. The Colts have followed. That the Colts get the win on the road against the Jags.
Next up, the Cleveland Browns are heading in to Houston to take on Deshaun Watson and the red-hot Houston Texans. I believe that's 8 straight for the Texans after a win on Monday night against the Titans. Coming off a short week, but I don't think it's going to matter here. I'll take Deshaun Watson and the Texans coming off a short week to get a win over Baker Mayfield and the Browns. Baker had a great week last week against the Bengals, but I don't think he's going to do that again this week. I'll take the Texans at home against the Browns.
I agree. I think it'll be a close game, actually, with a short week. But I do think the Texans are going to get this win by probably 7 points.
Next up, maybe Sam Darnold and the Jets head into Nashville to take on Marcus Mariota and the Titans. I'm going to take Super Mariota and the Titans to get a win here over the Jets. I don't think Sam Darnold's going to make that much of a difference. So I'll take Mariota and the Titans to get a win over the Jets on Sunday.
Two pretty bad teams right now. I mean, the Titans looked great against the Patriots a few weeks ago, but have looked bad since then. But I think the Jets are worse. I got Titans in this one.
Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs head into Oakland to take on John Gruden and his 2-win Oakland Raiders. Take this game to Vegas. The line right now is at 14.5. I will happily take those 14.5 points this week. Given the Chiefs to cover, the Patrick Mahomes is going to look good. He did make some mistakes back last Monday against the Rams, but I don't think it's going to matter here. I'll take Mahomes and the Chiefs to get another divisional win against John Gruden and the Raiders.
One of the biggest mismatches of the weekend. I think the Chiefs are absolutely going to roll.
Next up, the Minnesota Vikings heading into Gillette to take on Tom Brady and the Pats. Gronkowski's back, so that offense is back to clinging together. I'll take the Pats at home. The Pats have been looking great all year. They've been playing great. Just because they're at home this week, I'll take the Pats at home over the Vikings.
I think Minnesota will give them a good game, but I think at the end of the day, Patriots get this done. But I think it's going to be a relatively close game. I think the Pats will win by 3.
Next up, the San Francisco 49ers heading in to Seattle to take on Russell Wilson and the 12th man of the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to take the Seahawks at home. It's tough to win in front of the 12th man, especially when Nick Mullins is your starting quarterback. I'll take the Seahawks at home to keep those playoff hopes alive and get a win over the Niners on Sunday.
I agree. The 49ers have nothing to play for. The Seahawks do. The Seahawks come out with some motivation and they get this win. And
next up, the LA Chargers heading into Heinz Field to take on Big Ben and the Steelers. Maybe no Melvin Gordon this week. We don't know yet. We'll probably know Sunday morning about him. But I don't think he's getting out of here. Big Ben is, every time Big Ben has a bad game, he comes back and bounces back the next week. He had a bad week last week against Denver. But I think he bounces back this week And the Steelers get a win on Sunday night against the Chargers in a very good game.
I think it'll be a close game, two very, very good teams. But for my boy Terry Jewell, I'm going to take the Steelers over the Chargers.
Next up, the Washington Redskins heading into Lincoln Financial Field to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams still in playoff contention with how bad the NFC East is this year. I'm going to take the home Eagles because I just don't trust the quarterback situation right now with Colt McCoy and the Redskins. I'm going to take the Eagles and Carson Wentz to get a win over the Redskins on Monday night.
I agree 100%. I think if the Redskins quarterback situation was different, it would be a different game, but I think the Eagles are going to win this fairly handily.
And that will do it for this episode of Scott's Weekend Sports today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Scott's Weekend Sports, week number 69 next week. And I'll be back with my dad next Friday. I don't know if TLC's next weekend, but I'll check. And I'll be right back here next week on Scott's Weekend Sports right here on YouTube. See you later, guys.
Good night. Good night. Charge on.